see any zombies?
No.
Did anyone hear any zombies?
No.
Then everything is A-okay. Allow me to tell you a bit about this church. St. Paul's Episcopal Church is the second oldest church building in North Carolina. It was begun in 1736 and finished in 1774. Edenton was the capital of North Carolina when the church was first being built. So that is why the church is so big.
Edenton was the capital of North Carolina?
Yes, Edenton was our state's capital from 1722 to 1743.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it was. You see, Edenton was actually the first permanent settlement in our state. It had a port that exported fish, lumber, and things produced by plantations around town. It was a booming little town. That's why it became the capital of our state. St. Paul's Church was built in the middle of town in this area surrounded by the graveyard. The graveyard was the official town cemetery, started in 1722.
So you mean to tell me that the graveyard was started before the church was even built?
That is correct.
That is so creepy.
Not everyone likes to think about graveyards, I know. But I can tell you that 3 North Carolina governors are buried here, plus John Joseph Hughes, one of the men who signed the Declaration of Independence. Changing the subject, Harriet Jacobs attended church here. Do any of you know who Harriet Jacobs is?
She was a slave in Edenton. She's the lady in the attic.
Yes, you are exactly right. Harriet Jacobs' grandmother was Molly Horniblow, and she was a member of this church. She had been enslaved, but she earned enough money to purchase her own freedom.
How much was that?
All right, class. Molly Horniblow had to pay about $52.25 to become free. In today's money, that would be about $1,122.
There's no way I can pay that.
Miss Horniblow became the owner of a tea shop. Anyway, Harriet Jacobs was her granddaughter, and Harriet's 2 children were baptized at this very church.
That's amazing. Tell me something. Harriet's grandmother was free. Why was Harriet a slave?
Great question. Molly Horniblow did not have enough money to purchase freedom for other members of her family. She was only able to buy one son's freedom. Both of Harriet's parents were enslaved. Molly did help Harriet to become free by letting her hide in her attic in her home for almost 7 years. Harriet eventually fled to Pennsylvania, then to New York to gain her freedom. Her employer, Mrs. Cornelia Willis, did not believe slavery was right, and she purchased Harriet and freed her in 1852.
That is awesome. That lady was kind. She did the right thing because slavery was wrong.
Yes, she did. Years later, after enslaved persons were set free, Harriet came back to Edenton to help them learn how to get along in a world that no longer enslaved them. She never forgot where she came from.
You learned a song in music class that reminds me of Harriet Jacobs.
Oh, really?
It's called Free at Last. It took a long time for Harriet Jacobs to become a free person. Can we sing it?
Of course.
You can help us sing Free at Last. Jaden's going to sing the verses, and we're going to come in on the part that goes, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Just follow along. Okay, Mr. Joseph. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm
on?
I didn't like that part about the graveyard. Me either.
Well, girls, I think you're going to have to get over the graveyard. If Harriet Jacobs could stand slavery for the first 39 years of her life, you can get over the graveyard.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, look who's here. It's Mrs. Betsy Hicks.
Hey, everybody!
Hi, Miss Hicks.
Have you enjoyed learning about St. Paul's and Harriet Jacobs?
Yes.
Great! I just wanted to tell you that St. Paul's is my church. So many important people from our community have been involved with its history. I wanted to let you know that our doors are open to everybody. You are all welcome at St. Paul's.
Thank you.
Well, I saw you guys out here, and I just had to come and speak, but I've got to get things ready for Sunday. See you later.
Bye, Miss Hicks.
That was nice of Miss Hicks to take the time to speak to us. Miss Ryder, where are we going next?
We are going to Taylor Theater.
We're going to the movies. Yay!
No, George, we're going to learn about what the Taylor Theater was going to begin with.
Here we go, walking down the streets of Edenton. We're on our way to learn about some history on the big screen. Here we go, walking down the streets of Edenton. We're on our way to learn about some history on the big screen.
Everybody, we are now at the historic Taylor Theater. I am sure many of you have been here to see the latest movies.
Awesome, Mary Poppins returned.
I saw the one movie too.
I'm sure you did. Did you know that Taylor Theater was more than just a movie theater when it was originally built?
No.
This theater was built in 1924 by an architect named Charles Collins Benton from Eastern North Carolina. It actually opened in September of 1925 and featured an area for moving pictures and stage production. It was Edenton's first modern moving picture or movie theater, but it was also an opera house. Do you know anything about opera? Wow, what lungs you have. Opera was one of the cultural offerings afforded to people of high status in society. Edenton actually had several opera houses during the late 1800s and early 1900s. Samuel and Ada Taylor, the couple who had the theater built, operated an opera house on West Eden Street before opening the Taylor Theater on Broad Street.
They wouldn't have had to worry about me coming.
Very funny. Okay, everybody, I have a trick for you. We are going to go back in time to when Taylor Theater had operas. Have a seat.
On the sidewalk.
Yes, work with me here. Okay, close your eyes. One, two, three. Ta-da!
Wow, who is that?
This is Mrs. Carolyn O'Kelly. She is an opera singer.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. Mrs. O'Kelly, would you share a song from an opera?
Yes, I would be delighted to. This is Dido's Lament. A lament is a very sad, depressing song. I hope you enjoy it.
songs about dying. This is depressing and scary. Della, this is a sign. What do you mean? We've been to the graveyard. We've heard the zombies. I think the zombies are coming back. The zombies are coming back.
What in the world is wrong?
Well, these two girls had an encounter with zombies before they came with us on this tour.
Oh. Perhaps I could sing something more uplifting.
Would you please?
I think I know what to do. This is He Shall Feed His Flock by George Harrison. No nonsense allowed.
Thank you, and I'm sorry for the commotion.
That's all right. I'm used to singing for quite a different audience. Much of the time, opera is about some very dramatic life events. Just remember that if you ever go to see one.
Are any of you going to go to an opera? At least they're honest. Let's find out something else about this theater. Stand up, class. Close your eyes. One, two, three. Ta-da!
Wow, who is this? How do you get these people to magically just show up?
I have my ways. Class, this is Mrs. Jamie Bowers. She works with our school system. She has some things to tell us about the Taylor Theater.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, Miss Bowers.
The Taylor Theater opened as a 700-seat movie theater and opera house in 1925. In 1941, it was listed as having 850 seats. It ceased to be an opera house and became a place for people to see Western theme and other live shows along with movies.
That's a lot better than opera.
A lot of people will probably agree with you on that. The Taylor Theater was a very popular place to go to for great entertainment. What was sad is that people of color and Caucasian people could not enter the theater and sit in the same areas for about the first 40 to 50 years of its existence.
What?
That's right. Racial segregation was still the norm in those days. People of color had to enter the theater through an alley and then sit upstairs, while Caucasian people could go through the front door and sit on the bottom floor.
What does Caucasian mean?
It means white.
Oh no. What is it, Della? My father's family is from Mexico. They would have had to go through the alley to watch a movie upstairs. Why? They were not Caucasian.
It's sad, isn't it? Look around at your classmates. The students of color in your class would have to go through the alley too. They would have had to go upstairs to watch a movie. Is that right?
No.
In 1960, there were others who did not think it was right, and they started picketing in front of the theater. Picketing means they stood in a public area to demonstrate their feelings about racial segregation. They held up signs, they sang, they spoke out. They communicated that they were against the practice of separating people by color. They were trained to do this in a nonviolent way to be respectful of others. Young people like yourselves and older were part of this movement.
Really?
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. These young people were a part of the heart and soul of the civil rights movement led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They were taught to speak out against racial segregation, but never to hurt anybody with acts of violence. One of the participants in the picketing activities was Dr. Emma Bonner. She goes to Warren Grove Church. Do any of you know her?
No.
Dr. Bonner participated in the picket lines for about 4 years. She said the first time she saw a person struck by another person was during the picketing.
No.
Yes. She saw the leader, Mr. Golden Frings, get slapped, and he responded to it by saying, "March on, children, march on." He did not try to slap the person back. She saw a little boy spit on someone who was picketing. That person did not spit on him.
I couldn't deal with that.
I don't know if I could have dealt with that either. We would not have been very useful in the civil rights movement, would we?
No.
Dr. Bonner said that one of the songs that they used to sing when they were protesting against racial segregation is, "Ain't gonna let nobody turn